Hey guys, welcome back to Empty Trips. This is a video where I'm going to show you how I made the system for adding 200 million different zombies in my pack. Their model is split into separate textures. So this is an example of that, where the head is random, the facial expression is random, the shirt is random, the pants are random, and in this case it doesn't have any tears on the clothes. But I even added a system for, look, tears on the clothes. You see, so it has the random tears, a random shirt with random tears. I mean, the system is so incredibly random. Like I said, 200 million zombies. Like, I have to spawn a bunch before you really start to see, you know, how it really works. Look, that's my skin in there also. This one spawns without a shirt. This one spawns with a piggy shirt, but it also has tears on it. And it also spawns with a little hat, in this case inspired by story mode. I'm not about to go over all the references here. I just want to show off the feature that I'm going to be teaching you, because you're here to learn about the system, right? So just to make it clear, you're going to be learning how to do this, right? Another case where I've applied this technique is on the model of the Elder Guardian, where the coral on its top is individually textured from its skin and also individually textured from the coral on its tail. So that means that the Elder Guardian loads with 3 textures, the body, top coral and tail coral, and then it randomly rotates, it randomly mixes those textures. So that creates for an incredibly large skin pool of randomization, creates for, you know, great opportunities to add, well, you know, variety to your world, like a natural feeling, like with the zombies. Like, well, I guess I'll go a little bit into the inspo, I guess, since this is the video. Zombies are player skins, right? And player skins are the most random aspect of the Minecraft art style. So I wanted zombies to be like completely on the spectrum, like not at all have a texture, but like feel like they barely have a texture. And I kind of achieved that. Like all the facial expressions are based on the Bedrock Marketplace facial expressions. Like you can get them in the skin customizer. You can also use this technique to just make your models tidier. Like for example, I have a wolf in my pack. This is my wolf, and I have an Easter egg. Oh, it's gonna go after that sheep. Okay, it's gonna go after my sheep as well. Okay, well, whatever. Once he's ready, there you go. This is a wolf in my pack. I have an Easter egg where you name him King Bee Dogs. It gets a little crown, which is really silly. And previously, I had it so that every wolf texture had a crown, so that when it switches texture, it would always have access to the crown. But now the crown is just a separate texture, which is much tidier, and it makes it easier to randomize, right? For example, when the new wolf skins are coming, right? I can just leave the regular wolf texture alone, right? Theoretically, and just only add a new texture for the crown, and then include that into my model, and then there you go. All right, here's for the how-to part. We know why we're here. You probably know how to make packs. This is not like a basic tutorial, you know, like if you probably have a SEM folder already, an OptiFine folder, all this shit figured out. You'll probably already have models in your pack as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my zombie folder and check out all the zombie variants. First of all, I do have a lot of zombie skins. I have 80 zombie skins in total, and this is to accommodate, we're just gonna open them, okay? So we can see how the system works. Okay, check it out. If you open my model with BlockBench, maybe BlockBench updates, but currently this system is in OptiFine, but it's not really supported in BlockBench. Okay, so this is why this tutorial is necessary. Pay attention to the steps, okay? I've assigned multiple textures to this model, and you can only assign texture per group, right? And then everything that's in that group will also get the same texture. For example, this could have a texture upper body, right? And then whatever, that would give it that actually does have a texture upper body. Look, zombie upper body. And then right here it shows the UV mapping of that. It's pretty nifty. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say you're gonna want to keep the resolutions and especially the dimensions of your texture about the same size every time, so you can UV map it in BlockBench. Like I said, this is barely supported in BlockBench, so you can switch in between textures to see what you're doing, but the model is not loading the separate texture or anything, so it's kind of a pain to do sometimes. But if you know what you're doing, you can figure this out, and by switching in between textures, you can see how every piece is mapped. So this, the head, I know that I mapped this to the texture of the zombie head, so I can see how it's UV mapped. And then when I load the texture, all of this messes up because it's loading the same UV mapping over different textures. You get it, right? Anyways, my heads still use many models, so I can incorporate the different facial expressions per head types, because I also have a head texture that adds, for example, different hats. Like just a hat, and a hat or a mask or anything might be different per facial expression, right? So that's why I still have a lot of models, one for every facial expression, but I mix that in with different textures, which I can then just randomize, basically as you would any OptiFine texture. We'll go to our random entity folder, and you can just see, if I go to zombie, you have all my variants of all the textures. And it's just done in exactly the same way that you would do regular entity skins. So the zombie head texture, it just has a bunch of random variants, and then it has a properties file as well. And the properties file basically defines, you know, the skins as you normally would to my command, anything I want, right? And basically I've made it so that the normal zombie head, as you can see by the weight here, has a weight of 32, and the rest has a weight of 1, so it won't be common. And then the zombie head, whatever that is equally as common. What is the other zombie head? I don't know. Oh, it's the frozen one, right? Because it's the zombie from this set. As you can see in game, half of all heads will be snowy, half of all heads will be default, and then just about half of all heads will be one of the special heads, like an eye patch or a hat or Pama's hat or whatever you want, because this will be part of your pack, right? So how do you add these separate textures to your model? Basically, what you want to do, you're just going to create your model, okay? Just create whatever you want, create whatever you've created. See, if I load up my second Elder Guardian texture, it's going to also come with all the loaded textures. I also loaded in the sunken skeleton texture, so I could randomly on a different texture randomize the coral, which looks really squished. This is really jank. You don't want to do this the way I did this. You see the UV map? Because it's not the same width texture. Skeletons are a different width texture, and the Elder Guardian is 64 by 64. So the UV mapping works out for this bit of coral on this texture, for the entire thing on this texture, and on this texture. It only works out on that little texture, but that's fine. Look, this little piece of texture right there is in a separate folder. See, and this folder is assigned a texture, and everything in this folder will use that texture. But what you're gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of these textures, right? Because we're gonna start off with my model. Imagine that I've made a model like this, right? It has different elements in folders that I want to assign different textures to, right? I'm just gonna save it, all right? And then when I open it, it looks like this. I'm gonna scroll down, and I've already done this obviously, but yours will, for example, look like this by default, right? It's not gonna have this little line, and this BlockBench right now can't export this line into your texture, but you can do it manually and it works. So you're gonna open it, look for the folder in the code, which looks like this: ID, coral top, invert axis, whatever. It has all the information. You're just gonna put this line, right? And I have it copied. I'll put it in the description so you can a version of it, so you can just paste it in without worrying. Leave the texture bit. That's the important part. Leave all the structuring. Leave all the commas, like that's important as well. Everything is. And then this is the file path: textures, entity, guardian, elder, coral. This is just my texture. Here it is. It is actually in textures, entity, and here it is. Like, it's the right file path because it works in the game, obviously. There you go. And this is placed in the regular Minecraft textures folder, right? So you're gonna add extra textures, extra default textures basically. And then when you go to the random entity folder and you add the texture with a 2 or a 3 and whatever, you know, just the way you do random mobs, right? And even you can even assign a properties file. The game will just randomize out that specific texture of your model. The rest can be on a completely different properties file, basically, right? So you can make a lot of fucking random shit with this by just adding this little line, any texture you want. It's even a case where I made my wither into Herobrine, and as you can see, it comes loaded with the nether star texture, which is just the default item texture for nether stars. Like, that works too, so I don't even have to include the nether star anywhere in the texture. I can just, if we open it with Notepad, I can just assign the nether star item texture to it through this little line, right? I always put it under translate. I think it looks neat. Make sure you put it above boxes so it doesn't mess with anything. You know, you just wanna, if you don't know anything about code, you don't wanna mess with it, so just copy what I do, and you should be good. Now make sure that whenever you make a model, like how my zombie is right now, how it's loaded with all the textures, like, that's fine if you're working with it, because it loads those textures in, because it reads that it needs to load those textures in, but it doesn't know that it needs to save those textures to these folders, right? So whenever you save your model, make sure that you delete all these textures, all the textures that come loaded in, because they're assigned to separate folders. They have to be deleted when you save it, right? Otherwise, it's gonna mess up. It's gonna add them to the top here, and it's just gonna mess up. It's not gonna be nice. So there you go. It works. See, this is the wither. It has the nether star in its hand. It's lagging a lot because this is a super rare wither variant pack. My game is about to break down, but there you go. Another pack that does this feature really well is Hydyk's Realm, which also has an insane amount of random zombie skins using this same technique. So like Hidyk and like me, you will be able to make super random textures, super random models, BlockBench with resource packs. Isn't that fun? You need OptiFine though, it's an OptiFine feature. I mean, really, that's obvious, but okay. And that's how you do it. Here is an example of my Vindicators. They also use this randomized feature. Their ice block, for example, is on a separate texture, and the robes are also on a separate texture. So that means that the clothes that they have under the robes can be randomized as well. So these are just random Vindicator skins in my pack, like the different clothing types. Like, they're so random, it's hard to get it. You have to get the variant that I want. But here we have one without robes, and then the underlaying outfits You know, in this case, he doesn't have extra robes, because it's a snowy biome, this one does, and then the pants and shirts are random. I mean, you get it, right? I mean, we've showcased enough of this feature. My random vindicators. If you want to see them roll, if you didn't see it yet, it's kind of fun how to end the video. Look, check it out. Look, they roll when they aggro. Oh shit, they instantly killed me. Let's try it again. Let's look at the aggro. Look, they roll. Look how fun that is, right? And then they're super random because they have random outfits. I think they have random scarves too. Like the robes are shit. Like the robes are different and the scarves are as well. So these guys, well, they have different robes and different scarves. This one doesn't have a scarf. Look, you can kind of see it, right? You get it. I've showed you the entire video. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go now because it's probably already too long. Bye.